Welcome to Break a Wish, the podcast where all your dreams come true, but with terrible, ironic consequences. I'm your host, Maddox Campbell. On each show, we take a magic wish and try to come up with the perfect ironic cost. The idea is that knowing the wish's cost, it would still be a tough call whether you take that wish or not. Last week we had, you have a magic door in your house that leads to a library with every book ever written. But you have to make it accessible to the public, and you are its librarian. Our Twitter poll showed that 57% of you would accept this wish, and the Facebook discussion group had 75% of you reject it. Listener Yolanda really latched onto the idea of running the library as a business and sent me a long message of budgeting that estimated you could earn $100K per year working only 52 days. Not bad. For this week, we no longer tiptoe around the idea of using magic to make cold, hard cash. Justin Langford wished on Facebook for wealth beyond measure. I sit down with Kyle Scott and Leigh Cameron to dive into the vault of gold coins that is this wish. All right, we got a fun wish coming up, but first let's meet who's with us today. We've got Kyle Scott.
Hello.
And Leigh Cameron.
Hello.
And the wish we're going into, that's a little deeper than your normal wish.
Me and Kyle sound just exactly alike.
Yes, we spent a lot of time together just mimicking voices.
I specifically try to book people who have different sounding voices on this show.
That's really unfortunate. I guess you've never really listened to me speak.
The wish we're going into today is I wish for wealth beyond measure. And I think we're going to go a little loose with this because there's different ways to come up with this idea of just having a lot of money. And a lot of people have asked for different versions of wishes that are, I want a ridiculous amount of money. So I think we'll probably figure out a couple different ways to work that out. But let's get into it. Let's see if we can come up with some costs. Leigh, do you have an idea to kick us off?
One I thought of was that if you had wealth that like you couldn't measure, it would be really hard to like convince anyone you had money. Like maybe get a loan because they'd be like, okay, you need proof of how much money you have, and you'd be like, trust me, you can't even. I don't know. I can't even count it.
It'd be real tough to buy a house and like get the mortgage and all that. Like, would you need a mortage if you have wealth beyond measure?
I don't know that you can pay for everything in cash. What if you had money beyond measure, but you couldn't pay for things in cash? Does that make any sense?
I mean, that would just be more convenient because I pay for everything by card. I guess there are some things you have to buy in cash.
Wouldn't you feel so insecure if you're like your bank account would still be like it would just say question mark, and you'd be like, oh, here we go.
But you know it's a lot.
You'd always tap. Also, what if you never worked after that?
Yeah.
You'd be like, I've got everything. I don't have to. Oh, God, it just makes me stressed.
So basically you're saying that the way it works is it's a lot of money, like at least more than $1 million.
It's beyond measure.
Yeah, it's not necessarily infinite.
It's not infinite.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's not even infinite. You just can't measure it.
Yeah, but it's like at least $1 million because like it's still wealth. So we're saying like it's at least $1 million probably, right? Or are you not guaranteed?
Who's to know? It's like quantumly indefinite.
Well, because I mean, if I get $100 on this wish, then that's nothing. Like I could spend that very easily. That's not even beyond measure. That's just I forgot how much money I have. So
oh my gosh, guys! What if the wealth isn't monetary? Wouldn't that be a trick?
Oh,
so it's not cash, but
it's commodities. Like you just get a lot of sugar,
or like good vibes.
Yes, yeah. You have a wealth of friends, a wealth of love in your life. You have children who look up to you. Perhaps that's wealth.
Yeah, like that would be that would be such a stupid Christmas wish that you'd be so pissed about.
You'd punch the genie on that one.
That's a Christian movie.
That's a Hallmark movie for sure. Someone's like, you have wealth beyond measure. And they're like, yes, 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 yes.
I think the difference between the words wealth and value are coming up here. Because I feel like wealth means money, right? Value, like you have
could have a wealth of something. A wealth is also just a measurement, right?
It's qualitative. It's not quantitative.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is it helpful for this podcast if we just decide it's money? Let's decide it's money.
I think we have to decide it's money or at least things that have monetary value.
Okay,
negotiables.
Let's put some.
Like it could be funny if it is commodities. Like you get a lot of money, but you still have to sell it all before you can actually make use of it.
They're volatile.
Settlers of Catan. You're like, I've got so much wood.
You get wood, wheat, and sheep.
Oh God. them.
But you're never allowed to use money. You're only allowed to use... You get a whole bunch
Barter?
of commodities, but you always have to barter. That'd actually be kind of neat.
What, barter at the corner store?
Yeah, you have to come in and be like, hey, man, I just need some milk, but
You'd have to set up
will
a
you
huge-
accept a ton of lumber? Like,
You'd have to set up like a huge company.
But
And
again-
that would be hard.
like you could
First
set
you'd
up
have
a
to be
good
like, okay,
company,
I
but
need
then you
someone who's gonna
still...
buy all this
Still, when you
wood.
want to buy stuff for yourself, you have to buy it.
But if you
with
get into
things.
contracting, if you become a...
Wait, can you never handle money? Is that what you're saying? Like even
Yeah, that's
though
what I'm
your
saying.
company-
Like I'm saying, you can never use money yourself. You're not allowed to hold money anymore.
So you're not allowed to sell the lumber. You're only allowed to trade the
trade
lumber.
it for other goods.
Right.
That's a hat on a hat, though.
That's worse. Honestly, I make so little money, and that is worse.
But like if you had millions, maybe even like $1 billion worth of commodities all at once, different ones, but you just weren't allowed to use money anymore. You always had to trade them for something else.
Could you use them for services?
Yeah.
Could those people
If you
get
can
paid
find
money?
someone who would accept it, that'd be the challenge. Like you'd always have to find someone willing to accept
What
something
if
you
you
have.
set up a trading company?
So you've just broken the concept of currency,
Yeah.
which was set up for this
Ow,
exact
ow, ow,
problem.
ow, my brain
Just
hurts.
just the person who takes this wish,
So this
they
one
become very
person
wealthy,
is-
but they don't get to use currency.
So the entire idea of a monetary system is now excluding somebody.
Yeah.
So it's just another way that money is bullying, but this is very individual.
Yeah, just for that one person. I think that would be like a good hassle, but you'd still definitely
That would
get
be
a lot
a
of use out of it.
huge hassle.
It would be a huge hassle, but you'd still you'd be so
Ugh,
wealthy.
When you wanted a pack of gum, just that you think of
How much
feel like the
wood would
corner
you have
store-
to bring into a corner store to, like, they would not accept any amount. They have no use for it.
they
you
sell
would
wood at a lot of them, so they'd be like, "Wow, I don't have to order wood this week." They've got.
I
wood.
think they'd be like, I once I was in a sushi restaurant waiting for takeout sushi, and a man came in and he's like, "Yo, you guys use lemons?" And they're like, "What?" And he was like, "Yo, you guys, you put lemons with sushi?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'll sell you 3 crates of lemons." And they were like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, it's a really good deal. I'll give you 3 crates of lemons." Like that is what this is, except for
would
the
be, yeah.
you wouldn't even want money. You'd be like, "I'll give you 3 crates of lemons, but I'm gonna come back here every week and I want sushi." I get sushi 4 times a week, but I'm gonna keep you in lemons.
Yeah, I become your exclusive lemon supplier.
Okay, well then I'm gonna
But
pick
I
my
get to eat
wealth
here.
thing. Then I don't think I want wood.
yes.
I'm
you
not
get to
saying wood
pick-
specifically, just a bunch of commodities.
How about water?
Maybe you have a
That
bunch
is-
of
yeah.
water.
Then you're a Bond villain.
You have assorted commodities.
Excellent. Or assorted commodities.
Yeah, it's not like it's all wood or all
Because if you
water.
I feel like if
Diversified.
you've got like free range eggs, I feel like you could go pretty far in the city.
I was
Walking
Certain
around with a
neighborhoods.
basket of eggs.
Your
handing
story
them out to
seemed
people.
weird to me, but I was once in a pizza, and someone came in trying to sell them meat.
What type
There's so
of
many
meat?
people cursed with this blessing.
I didn't stick around, didn't pay attention closely enough because I thought, obviously, crazy person, just try to make it someone else's problem. And then they turned to me and asked if I wanted to buy some meat.
That's off
Now
the
it's
truck
your
me.
problem. Yeah.
There used to be a Busy Bee near my parents' house, like one, you know those convenience stores that are like off-brand 7-Eleven called
I've
Busy Bee.
only ever recently seen one, but I have seen
I
them
think okay. Where are you allowed to sell President's Choice products? Because Busy Bee was stocked with President's Choice products, all just a little bit squished.
now. I feel like it has to be one of the subsidiaries of,
Yeah, I think it's like No Frills and Loblaws.
yeah,
And whatever else Loblaws knows. I guess Loblaws
whatever.
knows everything now.
Yeah, maybe they bought out Busy Bee.
I don't think so.
Just like this guy.
This is because it used to be a 7-Eleven, and like they barely changed it. Is the one at Bathurst and St. Clair.
Do you think maybe they so it's all like stolen food? Like,
No, it was on sale, and they're selling it at a markup.
Oh, that's fair too. Yeah, I would think it was for sure off the truck. And it would have like 3 of each thing. You're like, that's not normal.
so it's a huge hassle, but I think you could get by selling things
Okay,
to people
but
and
is
trading.
it easier than having a job?
I mean, if you have enough, it's definitely you'd get more value out of it. Like you'd end up, you could.
No, that just is your job. You're just a commodities trader.
I guess, yeah, it
That's
becomes
true,
your
and I don't
job.
want to do that.
And you're not even doing it on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. You are doing this
Door to door. You're a door to door salesman, but you just have to get what people give you. I ran into some girls who I think were from France, like here on some trip, and they had this this project, I guess, to learn English, and to do the project was they had that, that like you have a paperclip and you have to trade up.
Yeah.
But they were just having no luck. It was I was like, I've got a piece
So they
of
were
paper.
still at paperclip when they got to you?
I was the first on their list.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe they'd asked a
maybe
bunch
you
of other
weren't.
people.
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, if I did start with a
so
paperclip,
sorry.
I would end up with a broken paperclip, most likely. I would not be able to.
From you trying to prove how useful a paperclip
yeah,
was
it's
by
great.
like bending it all different ways.
Not a good salesman.
But I mean, that guy did get to a house eventually, didn't he?
Yeah, he
paperclip
probably
guy.
could have also had a successful career in sales, probably.
Well,
He just wanted attention.
Imagine if he was starting with assorted commodities of millions of dollars worth instead of just a paperclip.
Yes, people do that, and they trade it for money because
Yeah.
money is better than commodities that you're stuck with.
Yeah, like what if? No, it all leads back to money.
Yes.
Okay, I still like that one. I'm taking that as my supposed cost.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's a monkey.
I have, like,
that's a good monkey paw.
I feel like
Yeah.
you went into this hoping we'd talk about this so that you could talk about your life goal.
Being a commodities dealer.
Wait, are you going to decide what your commodities are?
No, I think it should be randomly assorted. Like you don't have a guarantee because like then if
You don't have a guarantee. You don't know what's coming.
you don't know what's coming.
So you can't even have regular customers.
No, I mean you start with a certain amount. Like you start with.
Okay.
You know what? I'll say
This
it's
sounds
$1 billion. It's $1 billion worth of at market wealth, but it's in commodities, and those values
So
could
it's
start
worth-
Okay,
fluctuating.
and so how often do you get $1 billion worth of commodities?
Just when you take the wish, you get $1 billion.
You start with $1 billion.
Start with $1 billion
Are these
of assorted commodities.
my one word? Are these
you-
perishables?
I've got
At
$1 billion
least-
in milk.
At least some of it is non-perishable, and you also get like a lot to keep it in, or like a
I think it'd be
storehouse.
better if you got like $1 billion. If you once you bartered your $1 billion worth, you got a new $1 billion worth of something else. So it's like a wish that is partly has to do with your own skill at bartering.
But I just like the idea of them never being able to use money. Like if they like again the convenience store, the
Yes,
restaurant.
but you still would never be able to use money.
Oh, just they keep up. They'll get a new one every time they run out.
You renew it. Like, oh, if you sell $1 billion worth of barter $1 billion worth of Girl Guide cookies, you get $1 billion worth of fishes.
you know
Some
what?
alive and some dead.
You know what? I like that. Okay, I'll say it's a replenishing commodity
Yeah, it's a
stock.
replenishing quantity, but you don't know what's coming next.
And you can never
your
use
world
money or
your
currency.
life is constantly taking turns. You're constantly being forced to like meet new people,
From
move
Girl
into
Guide
new
to
areas,
fishmonger to... Yeah.
to airplane. Imagine
Getting
you had $1 billion
travel would be
worth
hard,
of
yeah.
old airplanes.
That'd probably be easier than $1 billion of fish because you have to have tanks and all that. But $1 billion airplane, that's like 5 airplanes.
But you
isn't
still
it?
need like a hangar.
No, yeah, I'll say it comes in like proper storage.
Okay,
like
you
it's
get
not
perfect.
like you get $1 billion worth
It'd be
of
great if
fish
you
and then
also
it just
got a
drops on
warehouse.
top of you.
Yeah. Yeah. If they were like, okay, drive out to this address, the wish granters. Like drive out to this address and you're gonna find a warehouse.
Yeah, you get a
full of
magic warehouse.
freezers full of cheddar pierogies. Cheddar
Sure.
and potato pierogies. Frozen cheddar and potato pierogies.
I think that would be fun. I think that would be a nice, monkey paw type wish.
Does even
but I
$1
kind of
billion worth of pierogies exist in the world right now? Has there? Like,
I mean, they are made of pretty cheap things.
I feel like that's more than all the cheddar pierogies currently in existence. Is
I
$1
mean,
billion.
but
Oh,
you can just
no,
keep selling
no,
them. Just keep selling them.
And I think like you're gonna get a higher price for a pierogi in a certain look. Like, I mean,
in Poland, yes, you sell. Wait, no,
no,
there's
you're gonna
market
sell
saturated.
less.
Yeah.
Exactly, saturated market. You need like I don't know where they don't have pierogies.
South African pierogies,
And maybe
probably.
you decide to
Maybe.
then hold Pierogi Fest, where all the employees are paid in pierogies.
You're
That's
running the
true.
fire festival
You
there.
could run a lot of events based on.
Yeah, to try to get the sales out.
Maybe you're just gonna like run a bunch of theater festivals. So all the volunteers get.
Paid in food or
Paid.
wheat or sugar or whatever you have.
Sheep,
All right, I feel
brick.
like I hijacked your wish cost though, Lee. So
No, I don't mind that at all.
but yeah,
Generate
do you
more
have
ideas
Do you have
now.
another idea? Yeah. since
Oh,
I've kinda
another
hyped-
cost for this wish. Okay.
Yes.
Don't pick mine. Don't pick mine. Don't pick mine.
Let me think. You never have change for the laundromat.
I think that's just no matter how much little or large your money is, you never have correct change for the laundromat until you get it from somebody else.
So how does that work? How does that function?
Well,
I feel like we're
you always-
hijacking Lee again.
So
but-
many. Well,
Yeah.
But you've got an
I don't know
idea.
if I
so
like
we'll-
that.
at a
either.
convenience store, I'm asking them, "Can I get that 5 quarters in loonies for for the laundromat?"
Yeah.
This is
Okay,
just
I can do better than that. I
specifically
can do
the
better than
laundromat?
that.
That's not- yeah.
Okay, you have measurable wealth, but everybody hates you. That's
Is
just
that
like
just
classic.
built in?
That's like
Is
a
that
movie.
just built in? Yeah. Is that? Do
Yeah.
people just hate rich people? I guess people like some rich
They're
people.
like they get adulation. Like everybody There's a certain segment of the population that looks up to Bill Gates and Elon Musk and even Donald Trump. They voted him in the president.
Yeah, it's just
Ooh, you've got immeasurable wealth, but you're always tripping in public. So you always look like an idiot.
just like extreme clumsiness so you don't look cool.
That's not good either. I don't like any of these. Let me keep thinking.
Okay.
Immeasurable wealth.
Well, I've
Go,
got
Kyle.
one. The tax implications. Think of the tax implications of not being able to actually declare your wealth.
Do you want to come back to
I
me?
mean, I booked Kyle. I should have expected a Kyle wish.
This is this is what would actually happen is...
okay,
know what?
but rich people are still rich.
Yeah.
Yes, but they still have to file a tax return. And if you cannot...
I mean, Kyle, you should be filing tax returns.
No, play it out for
no,
me, Kyle.
yeah.
All right, so if you have immeasurable wealth, how do you file that on your taxes?
I see what you mean. They'd be like, you're hiding stuff, and you're like, probably.
I don't know. I
I don't
literally
know. If
don't
you can
know.
find it, tax me on it.
You either end up being eternally audited and constantly involved, or you go to jail for tax evasion because you are completely unable to report your wealth.
Now, dare I say it, but I think you could bribe your way out of that.
Well, in certain nations, I would like to think the Canadian Revenue Agency is upstanding and honest, but you
And
could
if they're
probably
listening,
I guess you could live, and you could just live somewhere where all of the for real rich people who are
like
for now-
Andorra or Monaco, like a tennis player
the
would.
Cayman Islands.
Yeah, probably.
I know
Ooh,
that's
I
where
listened to a
people keep
podcast
money. I don't know
about
if people actually do. People go there to hide their money, or do they just
I
send
mean, I
their
think it's
money
a very
there?
beautiful place to live.
I always saw it as like a money nursery. Like you just send your money there, and they look after it, and they can send it back to you when you want it back.
I think that's true, but I think you can live there.
Yeah.
But maybe it's different.
I would also
maybe your
like
taxes
to live
are
in
different.
Switzerland, where you can get a numbered bank account.
I
Yeah,
don't think
Swiss.
people like to live there.
But I know it's a good place to keep money.
Lakes.
I feel like everyone I know in Europe is always like, oh, Switzerland. I roll.
Well,
I mean, they do have mountains and lakes.
I would be smug if I was Swiss.
You're smug now.
Yes, I
You're
should
from
be
where? You're from
Swiss.
Scarborough?
I don't think people badmouth Switzerland like the place. They just go like they're hiding all the money, or they're like they got to pick a side. Something important's happening.
I think they badmouth them. I mean, I'm
lot
going to
of
get
it is-
beat up by a Swiss gang, but I think everyone's like, snore. It's a real snore.
Yes, they used to call Toronto, New York, run by the Swiss because it
Because
was
we're also a snore.
yeah.
That's a double mean.
And they banked for the Nazis. People never really forgave them
Yeah,
for
that's
that.
what I was saying. Like the whole being so neutral, they ended up being evil thing. I think that's what people get mad about. Not
Yeah.
so much that the place itself is boring. They have good watches and knives,
Chocolate.
chocolate,
Yeah.
shoes, right? Didn't they do shoes?
No.
No,
Maybe.
Case
I don't
Swiss?
think of.
Maybe.
Or is that just a
That's
brand
a
name?
watch. That's the case. This is a
That's
watch
another
brand
watch?
that
Okay.
started
But they're known for doing a couple good things, at least.
skiing.
Great at
Did
skiing.
we say that one
They have
already?
Alps.
Heidi.
I think we're just, by trying to show how much we know about them, we're just
They
showing
got
how little
three
we know.
languages at
Yeah,
least.
French, German, and Italian.
and maybe one other one. They've probably got a local one.
Yeah, it's probably dialects. Like German and Italian have a lot. Like you mix those together, well, basically that's English with like German and French. So maybe they speak secret English.
I want to know the secret version.
Anyways, the Swiss are okay-ish.
So to wrap back, I think you could hide your money enough and get away with it if you just were willing. You probably, you might not be able to stay in Canada.
I
But you
mean, I'd
definitely
probably
lots of
take
places-
Kyle's version because
It's-
what an adventure to be that wealthy.
Yeah, I feel
You
like I could travel the
pretty
world
bad,
with it.
though.
But you'd be constantly a tax exile. Like you would run into tax problems everywhere and then you can't move your money because it's immeasurable. You never know if you've moved enough of it to be safe.
I just think, again, if you have enough money, it's a lot easier to hire someone to hide your money in such a way.
But you can't know if you've moved enough to actually do it. Like if I move X amount of dollars from my Scotiabank Canadian account to my numbered Swiss account, those are still variables which I cannot solve for.
Your Scotiabank Scene Points account?
Yes.
Oh my God, immeasurable scene points.
Basically, that's where you
Free
hide out.
movies
You just
forever.
hide out at the Scotiabank Theater.
I think as long as you weren't essentially, and you know what? I bet there's so many like sketchy, insanely wealthy people
Oh,
here.
for sure.
Yes, but they are able to move their money and be precise about it. You can't be wishy-washy about how much money you have, because if you move X amount of dollars from your immeasurable wealth, say you start pulling on that thread and then you say 3 million is probably enough, but then they can still find another 10 million to take away from you. Does it matter?
But if they can't measure it, they can't take.
And if they take it away from you and then you're like, okay, but I still have this many millions left, I'm still wealthy.
That's
Maybe
still
if you just
tax
give
evasion.
enough to charities.
Yeah, if you give enough to charities, they'll be like, honestly, we don't care. Bribes
Me and
and
Maddox are
charities.
very convincing you can get away with it.
A government that knows it can basically fund itself on your account is
Then
just
it-
going to
it's-
stop?
Well, it's just going to be like, hey, as long as we don't ask questions, he keeps giving us more money than we can count.
You're assuming that tax collection is as lazy as you are, though.
I mean, I'd hope so.
Is that how you file your taxes?
Pretty much, yeah.
This is-
I type it into the TurboTax and I hope for the best. And I probably forget things, but I am not making enough money that I hope anyone who sees any discrepancies goes, it's not worth it.
Yeah, I know that I'm never really going to run into trouble with any of my tax returns because they have to owe me more money back? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so
probably-
poor.
That's probably my situation
You'd be
too.
surprised. You can always get into trouble, can't you?
Yeah, true. Fingers crossed that all my lies never get discovered via this podcast. My immeasurable wealth.
Our top listener is Mr. I just imagine his name is Mr. Revenue Agency.
Chris R.A. Courtney R.A. You have a measurable wealth. But I feel like it could be anything because measurable wealth is like the thing. It's like the peak. It's like you got it all. So what's the worst thing when you got? You always get paper cuts. Like you can't touch a piece of money without getting paper cut. And
Ooh.
also you don't your blood doesn't cauterize.
You're a hemophiliac.
Yeah, hemophiliac will getting constant paper cuts. I mean, I don't like paper cuts.
I feel like the idea of money hurting you back is good. I don't know if we
not-
have to make them a hemophilia back specifically.
So,
No, it's a perfectly Midas acceptable
Okay.
thing. Like
no, because
everything
you're not
you
going
touch
to handle
turns to
paper
gold.
money. There's got to be a different one. You have immeasurable wealth, but
But you're alone forever because you're rich old. You're like Ebenezer Scrooge before the ghosts come constantly. Because you have so much wealth, you lust for it. It draws you in. It obsesses you.
Oh, so you never stop wanting it.
yeah.
Despite having more than enough.
Oh, yeah. You have immeasurable wealth, but you always want more. That's depressing.
It is. And it's also, I feel like we've
Accurate?
We've seen that in the world enough.
Yeah.
It's very believable.
Oh, that's tragic now.
Yeah, because I feel like there's just so many consequences of that. No one ever tells you the truth. You're alone a lot.
That's the topic of every rock opera, basically, because they all eventually get to that point where
Ooh, you have immeasurable wealth, but you constantly have to watch rock opera.
that would not be good. There's like two good ones.
Yeah, you have immeasurable wealth, but you have to watch Bat Out of Hell every single day for the rest of your life.
I don't know that. I don't think that's worth it for me. I haven't even seen it the first time, but I've heard it wasn't that great.
I saw it.
Okay.
No, some people love it so much. I was like, this is not.
If I
Quite bad
was
enough.
17 in 1978, I might like it.
It was really fun because the audience loved it so much,
Okay.
and also it has like a lot of like stage magic, pyrotechnics, bats flying out of places. But the plot should be so simple, but it is so convoluted that they need both a piece of paper that's like a little newspaper that explains the plot to you before the show starts, and then it has like a Star Wars style scroll also explaining the plot, and you're still like, is the city literally on fire? Who's that guy? They keep being like, the city's on fire, and you're like, but is it? Or is this just like a statement?
Any one like piece of entertainment that's going to be like, I'm assuming the runtime's like 2 hours or something like that, probably, right? Like it's a musical.
Yes, I believe probably.
Yeah.
And plus Meatloaf songs, so
Yeah. So anything that takes that long to do, that I'd have to do every day, the same thing every day, that would be a torture to make most things
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
yeah.
But for being wealthy, that's still way less time than working a job you
You
hate.
have to see Meatloaf. You have to see Battered Hell every single day, and it's in the middle of the day.
But think about like how many
Also,
people
you
work
can't really
jobs.
have just like a nice day at the park because gotta go see Bat Out of Hell.
Yeah.
They do a specific performance for me and I'm required to be there.
Yeah, and at the end of every one, you have to give a speech.
Oh no!
So you
okay.
can't even be like, I'm wasted, because everyone's like, okay, wait for the speech.
And it's like a book report. It's like, how did you like this performance?
Yeah.
And it's the same one, but you
Yeah.
always have to give like a fresh report.
And if you don't give people like really accurate, like if you don't give people the right notes, which are like a little bit harsh but also very supportive,
yeah.
they're gonna cry, and you have to go and comfort them all afternoon.
Really enjoyed your vibrato, but you missed the middle C and the third chorus of Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
I mean, that's definitely a cost. That's definitely a form of torture. I wonder if it's too random.
Well, it's hard when the thing is so big.
It's big. Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to propose...
Most rock operas are written by rich rock stars to express their alienation.
It's true. So, okay, it's not entirely random, I guess. I'm going to propose one more possible cost. It's a little bit off topic, so I'm just going to see what you guys feel about
That
it.
your shoes will never fit properly.
No. Instead of it being you have wealth that's beyond measure, the idea is that you get as much wealth as you want, but you have to count it out in singles by hand to get it. And you don't
So
get
it's
any
all
of
in
them.
American
Like
currency.
Canadian singles?
Or loonies, but just like you have to count it out, pulling them
it's
one
so
at a
heavy.
time out of a bag, and then you get however much money you count out individually one at a time when you leave.
Wait, do I get to use a cash scale?
No.
So
You
wait,
have to
is
just-
this in your house or do you have to go to a bank every day?
So it's like you get locked in a room that has like a tub of loonies, and you have to like carry them out and put them into like another tub.
So
one at a time.
Scrooge McDuck's money vault. You get to go into Scrooge McDuck's money vault, and it's filled with loonies.
Sure.
You have to carry each one out of the room at a time, or you can just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, like count them
Can
into
I
a
then
bag.
exchange this for bills or put it on a card?
Let's say you have like a little bag, but you have to pick them up one at a time, and you put them in your bag, and then you can like put the bag out of the room, and then, but only once you've decided you're full, do you get any of the money to take away.
So you can then transfer it onto your debit card.
Yeah, once you're done. But you don't get any money until you've had your fill. So like you might have to be there for weeks if you want to get like $1 million, or I don't know how long it would take.
But you can like once you transfer to your debit card, can you keep it there? Could you like it could be like when you could only get a certain amount of money out on your debit card. You're like, I can only get $250 out, but I got to pay rent. So you'd go like 4 days in a row or whatever.
So this is less of like a reoccurring wish. This is more of like a one-time thing. This one-time thing, you get
don't
however
get-
much money.
Doesn't roll over.
Yeah. So you'd have to stay there in that vault, constantly counting it out. And then when you're done, that's how much money you get.
Yeah, totally. I'd do that.
How much money would you take? Or how long would you stay there collecting money?
I mean, tough call. I've worked in a warehouse before counting plant bulbs, so I think I have high stamina.
For just counting out things?
Yeah. And also, wait,
What
if
do
you
mean?
lose count, do you have a lot of piece of paper?
I'll say if
Can you
lose,
roll it? Are you rolling these?
No, you just put them in a bag. But like, I'll say if you lose count, it's not like, oh, you get none of the money. It's more of like, if you lose count, you just don't know how much money you've collected, so you don't know when to stop. But it's like every one you take out, you have to take them out one at a time.
So then it's just a rough
it's more
estimate.
it's more of like the time investment and the tedium
Are you
investment.
allowed snacks?
Yeah,
No.
do you
Ooh, can you put on like Netflix in the background? You have to.
You could do Netflix in the background,
All right.
but no snacks, no. You could do a bathroom break, but you can't like leave the building.
But you can't have like. How do you? If you're there for a week, you just don't eat.
Oh, all right, maybe like some gruel or something, like just enough to sustenance to keep you alive.
Something that you
I
don't
still
like.
do that. It's
more the
that's fine.
tedium.
That's fine. That's okay.
In loonies, how long? But how
Absolutely.
long would you do it? Like how long?
Oh man, you give me a good couple miniseries on Netflix, I'll do it for fucking weeks.
If they've like released a new Jessica Jones, it's fine.
Okay.
Like it's really this sounds not very much different from my regular life, except I'm earning money.
Yeah, it's probably still at a faster rate than your job.
And because you still can't take handfuls.
No,
though, right?
still one at a time. You gotta
One
pick
at a
up
time.
one
That's
at a time.
fine. I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I count cash as part of my job, and it doesn't take that long to count loonies.
As we're talking about this, I'm already thinking of what shows I would want to be like. What would I watch?
What's top of your list?
Ooh, I like personal favorites are either like a true crime series or I could watch I could watch so many Poirots forever and ever, or like Hercule Poirot, the detective,
Sounded
famous
like you
Belgian
said pornos
detective.
to me.
Oh, okay.
Pornos. just watch
I
it.
heard porno.
There's
and
a
I
lot
was-
of porn on the internet, is what I'm
It's
saying,
true.
and I got all the time. Or like a historical drama.
Well, okay, those are good choices because those are all things that are long. True crimes, like they have like a single crime, they'll have like a whole series
Yeah.
on like the one guy.
I'm good at picking shows that are long.
that are long, yeah.
would
Okay,
you
what
watch?
about you, Kyle?
Almost embarrassed to say, but it probably like something like Friends or How I Met Your Mother, because you don't have to invest any effort into watching those shows. They're familiar and they already bear repeating. And with How I Met Your Mother, my hatred for Ted grows as I watch it. So it's fun to hate Ted on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so
And
yes, some of the
watching
solid-
Ross go from the person who's right all the time to the greatest monster in the group.
I don't remember Friends that much, but yeah, I feel like he did some bad things.
He's a bad man.
He's a bad
He gets
man.
worse.
I didn't actively watch Friends. I've only like seen
Episodes here and there, yeah.
so much of it, but everybody
def-
gets a certain amount of money based on how many Friends episodes you've seen, but you don't know because you don't know how many episodes you've seen unless you watched all of it.
So I think the counting out one, it was a fun idea to explore. I mean, I'd probably just
I'd take that for sure.
Yeah, it's not a huge cost. It's my job is counting my money.
yeah.
Especially if I don't actually have to count them. If I'm just like, okay, I'm going to be here for 3 weeks.
You gave us a real big out that we don't even have to actually know.
Keep track of the number. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that I'm.
You're just worried about losing track of the number.
Oh, if someone was like, you have to keep track,
Yes.
I would be.
The number, the wish would go the other way.
Without
If you
paper?
lose count and you're inaccurate, then you lose
Get
it.
nothing?
That
Ooh.
would be a good caveat.
I'd lose it at 20. Like, cannot count.
Okay, so I think that one's probably not going to work. But let's revisit the 3 that we have suggested. So I had, you can't use currency, but you just get a wealth in commodities.
No thanks.
Reusable commodities.
So annoying.
Kyle was basically tax implications. That's because it was beyond measure. The tax man
That's
would
what
be
would
after you.
actually happen, though.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a magical cost. That's just like another implication of you not knowing the actual number.
The world has its own caveats. The world is a hard and uncompromising place.
The Kyle's got story.
That's actually what would happen to me if I got this wish. I would just get bogged down in taxes because I don't know how to handle it properly.
And Lee's was you have to watch the same rock opera every day to get the money, as though it is your job.
And you have to give a speech at the end
And you have to give it, a book report type speech at the end.
that everyone really cares about.
And you have to comfort any of the actors who get sad at your speech.
Oh,
Okay.
if you have to deal with the actors, that's agony.
So are we seeing any of these standing out to us? I'll be honest, Kyle's feels like just the real world implication still.
Yeah, and we can't choose your last one. We can't have your last one that's perfect or perfect dream scenario.
Well, just I think we'd all take it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a cost.
And yeah, so if we'd all take it, then it's not a balanced
That
wish. We're
feels
trying to
like-
come up with a wish that's 50-50, right?
Okay. Well, I'd take Kyle's. I wouldn't take yours for sure.
Yeah, yours, no one would take. Because
I would take commodities,
Maddox, it sounds like a horrible job that I don't want.
but I feel like it's a lot of money. Like it's a lot of wealth.
Yes, so
And I'd probably start to find it fun to do the weird trades. Like I'd find it quirky to give people really good deals, but just like a weird trade. Like
but it's almost not a wish.
I guess you could
It's-
trade them for not that much.
Yeah, you don't have to do a fair
But
trade.
like you got to find someone who will rent you an apartment for whatever you've got going at the time.
Yeah. But it's like you tell them like it's going to be a good deal. I'm going to pay you in weird things, but it's going to be a good
But
deal.
I hope you like octopus.
I feel like octopus.
That is people's lives, though. They're
Or
called business people.
And I can also do secondary things. So like if I sell the octopus for a bunch of, plants, I could give my landlord
It
plants.
seems so stressful, like going on vacation. Like, how do you pack enough? You're like, okay, I'm going to Paris for a week.
I got to bring
I gotta bring
all my lumber.
40 pounds of butter.
Wait, do you trade your $1 billion worth for... I'm just going to trade that for ownership of Air France so I can get on the plane to go to Paris. Then, when I'm in Paris, I trade Air France for the ownership of a
hotel. I can get a hotel,
chain.
yeah.
And thus you get
No
to
one's
stay in
gonna
the
give
hotel
you a
for free.
hotel for $1 billion worth of anything.
Would they give it
If it was gold,
Someone might
perhaps?
give me a hotel chain for an airline.
Yes, but no one's going to give you an airline for $1 billion worth of anything. Like, what could you possibly have outside of something that is not, like, literally, like, a gem, gold, oil?
I mean, sometimes I might
Maybe
get
when
gems.
you might
I might get oil.
You
yeah.
might get oil.
It's random, right?
Yeah.
And chocolate is only going to get more expensive. If you have $1 billion in chocolate, that's going to... The value of that's
Coffee
going to go
might
up.
be,
Yeah.
but, like...
Commodities are volatile. If
Yeah.
it's one that's going up,
But the
someone's going to
problem,
take
like,
that
if you got $1 billion worth of a coffee plantation, you get $1 billion worth of coffee, people don't want that.
Yeah, it is... Well, Starbucks would.
Starbucks would. Yeah.
But what is Starbucks actually going to give you? They're like, okay, well,
So-
they give you your own franchise, but you still can't have money.
What if it I just keep on trading people a ridiculous amount of commodities for their service for life? Like if I went to Starbucks.
But you have to really trust people.
If I went to Mr. Starbucks and said, here's $1 billion worth of coffee beans, primo quality, can I just have hot chocolate for life? He'd give me a card. I can do that. I know McDonald's actually has a card that gives you free food for life.
Who do they give it to?
I know Warren Buffett has one and Bill Gates has one.
They don't need them.
They totally don't, but they do have them.
That's
and
because they're friends with executives.
they're friends with executives.
That's stupid. stupid.
There's like 10 people who have free McDonald's for life.
Like, that's like the saddest, richest, like, that's like such a fun little, like, Warren Buffett's like, hey, you want to see a fun thing? Let's go to McDonald's. And we're like, we'll buy everything on the menu. Like, that's so sad.
Hey,
like a
single mom who's
billionaire.
struggling to feed her family.
Yeah.
I'm a billionaire.
You know what? Get a burger for yourself, hon. So sad.
Yes, rich people
Oh,
make the
so
world sad.
deeply depressing. This word turned out to be sad. Except
Yeah.
for mine. I mean, honestly,
Okay.
in the end of the day, I think it's a good payment.
I'm leaning taking my commodity one. If you guys are very much against
Does it
no,
have to be bad out
Absolutely
of
not, I
hell?
won't.
Could I do Tommy?
No.
No.
You have to do better
It's gotta
than
be bad out of hell. All right, would we take that one? Let's throw it around the table. Would you take your own wish? Bad out of hell.
Okay, here's my
and
question.
a speech.
Could I travel, I wonder? Like,
No, because
I've got to see it live.
You got to see it live.
Then no.
You could only travel to cities that currently have a live production of Bad Out of Hell.
Well, it's pretty hot right now.
So,
But I have $1 billion. I can fund them wherever I freaking want to go.
yes.
Ooh, maybe.
Can I fund just super low budget versions of Bad Out of Hell?
No, they got
Whatever-
to be full
gotta
production, full
Great,
value.
sure. You
Yeah.
know what? I'm funding the arts. Yeah, I take my wish.
Actually, yes, yours does have the